You want to stream? You got to stream. What is up, everybody? This is Jay, aka MultimediaJay, and oh man, oh man, oh man. First off, an explanation for the removal of the MultimediaJay TV name that is no longer on any of the screens, I don't think, for any of these chat streams. I'm dumping the MultimediaJay TV thing, leaving it in 2021 where it belongs. Chat streams are a thing on YouTube. Chat streams are a thing on Twitch. There really is no reason for me to try to embellish what is essentially me going live and chatting about things. Much in the same way that just chatting on Twitch isn't referred to in any stylish way, because that's basically what it's supposed to be. Now, the fact that people turn just chatting on Twitch into a YouTube type category where stuff that doesn't fit in any of the other categories just gets dumped into just chatting, that's a Twitch culture problem. Well, fundamentally, what you have with just chatting on Twitch is a fundamental issue with it's just branding in general and stuff along those lines. Hey, speaking of branding, I should probably move this over here because the watermark in the corner is actually what shows up in the lower right. So let's just put that over there. So yeah, we'll put some MultimediaJay gradient thingies somewhere in the area, or actually maybe I should put it up in this corner up here. So you just have it somewhere on the screen, and then down in the corner there will be a logo or something along those lines. Anyways, tonight we have to talk about this whole Elder Scrolls Online thing, because I have just there's been a lot of crap that's been going on with ESO for the last month, and I think that the brass at ZeniMax needs to bring down the hammer on their people that are causing these problems, because this is brand stuff here. This is the sort of thing you don't do when you work for a large corporation like this. And what is ZeniMax in the corporate world? I looked up, revenue is like, what, 500 mil? So not even a company that's in the billions. But, you know, here's the thing. I don't talk a lot about my background in corporate America, except that it's in the Fortune 500. And I keep things ambiguous for a reason, because that's how you keep things professional. If you want to draw a proper line between a personal opinion and a professional opinion, you have to draw it good and hard and not have any overlap. Basically, the line needs to be a line, not a dotted line, which is more than I can say for these video game developers who think they can just have a personal Twitter or personal Twitch stream when they're identifying themselves as key figures in a game's development. Look, the general public doesn't care about your disclaimers, Rich Lambert. The general public does not care about whatever little disclaimers you put in your Twitter bio. The general public only knows that you are the video game guy, and people are going to show up. They're going to be talking about the video game. You know, if you fly the flag, people are going to recognize the flag and come running over. Much like in the same way that, you know, one of the problems of being a manager is that you're basically the complaint department. You have to be that open-minded person that at least listens to the concerns of your associates. Whether you do anything or not, of course, people get cynical a lot about how managers don't really do anything. They just pretend to like you and then find an excuse to fire you. I mean, that crap floats around all over the place. But the thing is, by virtue of being a leader, the buck stops with you. So, by virtue of being a leader, the buck stops with you. It is your issue when something happens underneath you, so to speak, or when something happens with something that you oversee. I say this with regards to management issues all the time. What's the humidity down to? I probably should have dug out the lip balm. It's only 32% humidity in here. It was single digits last night. Anyways, part of the burden of leadership is that you own what you oversee. Whatever you are in charge of, you become the public face, so to speak, of whatever it is that you are in charge of. There really is no way to just be yourself when you are known and parading about as what you are professionally. It just doesn't work. And recent gaming history, especially when it comes to crossover with social media, has shown that this does not happen with game developers who try to draw some kind of line and have a personal social media. The minute you identify yourself as who you are, or what you are, I should say, who you are no longer matters. People will be there because of what you are. And this is not a thing that any game developer, especially high-profile game devs who parade about like celebrities, this is not the sort of thing that anybody gets away with. It wasn't the case with Jessica Price during the ArenaNet fiasco a couple of years ago. It wasn't the case with Adam Halinsky with some of the World of Warcraft issues a while back. It's not going to be the case with /Lurk now. So, anyways, it seems like we're jumping in the middle of the act here. So let's kind of see if there's any way possible that we can work our way forward to talking about some of Elder Scrolls Online's leadership challenges and stream team issues. Let's just see if it's even possible for me to do that with just how much of an information overload everything has been for the last month or so. So why don't we start at the very, very beginning with my involvement with Elder Scrolls Online, if that even is the beginning in the first place. We can talk about years of involvement with World of Warcraft, years of involvement with Final Fantasy, although Final Fantasy is such a, nobody can take any kind of criticism kind of game that now you can get banned for harassment for telling somebody they need to get better at playing the game. So I can very easily imagine a situation where constructive criticism gets turned into a harassment ticket and people get banned from Final Fantasy. So popular though it may be, I can't imagine myself playing it anymore. Plus, it was more restricted than ESO. Look, the direction that MMOs have been going in for the last several years is one of freedom, more sandboxy stuff. Less snooty nose in the air developers wagging their finger at you, telling you you can't play how you want, or it's not in line with their vision, or whatever. Less of the finger waggery, we know better than you, dev attitudes, and more a matter of, okay, folks, play this game and see what you can do with it. That's the way things are, and that's the way things became when the third generation of MMOs started to come onto the scene, with games where, content levels with you. Or games where, it's not as bad of a thing to go back to older parts of the game and do some stuff you didn't do before after you've leveled out of the zone. Like in Guild Wars 2 when you get dynamically down-leveled, or of course Star Wars The Old Republic does that as well. And then you have ESO taking a page from the offline Elder Scrolls games where Tamriel levels up with you. There's a little danger here and there in the outdoor world. Maybe you'll get attacked by a wolf or a bear or something, or some bandits. But then when you go into the dungeons, which in ESO would be the delves, the caves, the instances, then the challenge picks up and things get more dangerous. Maybe you need a group, maybe you need a trial team, which is what raids are in ESO. But anyways, Elder Scrolls Online, I've been playing it since the 1 Tamriel patch. I was looking forward to the game before it was launched, only to be very disappointed when it was basically World of Warcraft with an Elder Scrolls coat of paint. And there were problems galore, there were bugs, there were all kinds of crap, and Angry Joe made his angry review, and there were some very notable missing features that were present in real Elder Scrolls games, as they might have been called back then, but not present in ESO. There wasn't even a justice system for if your character was a thief or something like that, or an assassin going around and randomly, taking out civilians in the town. There were no guards to chase after you. Now there's what ESO has. Stealth was kind of whatever. So when I was getting involved in the 1 Tamriel patch, the world had been opened up. The world had been opened up to where you could go anywhere in Tamriel. And you could, do whatever. No matter which of the 3 factions you created a character in, or if you bought the Imperial thing and made an Imperial. But you have to pick a faction for the Imperials anyways. There really is no neutrality with them and stuff like that, because the Empire, as we know it in Elder Scrolls Online, does not exist. It's the interregnum period. There is no Emperor. It's a title you get in PvP, by the way. It's, or should I say in Cyrodiil. But that's the thing. The Empire is in eclipse, as one load screen in the game actually says. The Empire is in eclipse. When I got involved with Elder Scrolls Online, the world had just been opened up with the 1 Tamriel patch where you weren't stuck to just your faction's zones. And at the same time, the zones weren't really leveled anymore. It was just a matter of go wherever you want, play however you want, do whatever you want. Now, there is nothing wrong with a sandboxy MMO where you can actually experiment and try things out and play how you want. The problem is, though, what you may want to do may not be what is the most effective to take down the raid boss or whatever it is. I mean, you can put your points into all three. Let's see here. I did this in Skyrim, actually. I didn't really specialize my character, but you can put your points into a mixture of health. Make sure the wind from the fan's not getting into the mic here. Let's see. You can put your points in, whoops, knocked over the Bluetooth speaker again. You can put your points into health, magicka, and stamina equally and be like a jack of trades character and maybe mix things up a lot, or even play a Khajiit where you get bonuses to all three primary attributes. But you're not going to be as effective as somebody who specializes. It's all part of the balance. That way we don't have like God mode everyone characters running around all over the place. So, I mean, it's cool that Elder Scrolls Online embraces ingenuity. That's how people come up with things like the gank builds in PvP or the I can solo anything builds in PvE. What? Why would that trip a Google speaker? I don't know. The I can solo anything builds in PvE that are out there soloing veteran dungeons and all kinds of other cool stuff like that. I mean, the ingenuity of the player base is why this stuff exists. And Elder Scrolls Online is a game that lets you do that. It is all about player freedom. Tamriel is your oyster. Some parts will be harder than others. You may need to change things to rise the occasion. If you have a difficult boss or some mechanics in a dungeon somewhere, whatever, you may need a group to take down a dragon because you can't really solo those. Can you? I don't know. They were designed explicitly to be not soloable. So, I mean, you can basically play how you want. But at the very same time, since then we've seen Elder Scrolls Online basically just get bigger and bigger. There's a lot of nice things that I have to say about ESO. ESO is probably the only MMO out there where the expansions actually expand the game. An expansion in World of Warcraft, for example, has this nasty side effect of making everything before that expansion obsolete. This did not end in Shadowlands either, as I've talked about in some of my old radio-style podcasts, talking about the level 49 problem where you want to freeze your character's level before you get out of Chromie time if you want to play World of Warcraft like ESO and have everything pre-Shadowlands where you can go anywhere and do anything anytime you want. You have to use something that turns off your character's level progression in order to get that. It doesn't come naturally, unlike ESO. Final Fantasy, an expansion in Final Fantasy, extends the game linearly. So you buy expansions and whatnot. It makes the MSQ, main story quest, longer. But in Elder Scrolls Online, you have the unique ability to play anything in any order. It might get a little awkward if you play things out of order, particularly with some of the characters that are shared between the various zone stories. However, brings it to ready. The fun part with Elder Scrolls Online is that expansions literally expand the game finally the way you'd think an expansion would, where this game is already big enough with plenty to do and stuff, places to go, and then this just adds more things to do, more places to go, without affecting any of the stuff that's already in the game. Final Fantasy does that, but you have to go through the entire story to get to that expansion that you just bought, unless you buy a boost. So in terms of expansions actually expanding the game, ESO is probably the truest of the big three MMOs that I watch in terms of that being the case. So there are lots of nice things about ESO. How about, for example, under Play How You Want, the class system? And I use that loosely because classes are basically styles. No, it's basically groups of spells and stylistic things and cosmetic stuff arranged together. If you're a Templar, for example, you're using divine magic, the equivalent of something like a paladin or a cleric, but you can equip any of the armor that you want. You can be a light armor Templar, medium armor Templar, heavy armor Templar. You can tank, you can do damage, you can be... Or how about, for example, the Shakadin in World of Warcraft? People were like, oh, holy paladins should be able to throw some magic around, in addition to their sword and board, which they never got to use. You can do that in ESO. You can be a caster with a sword and board. Of course, sword and shield is tanky in that case, so you are going to be running up against that. But I mean, you can do that. It's just that some builds are going to be more optimized than others. But there's plenty of good things to say about Elder Scrolls Online. And so I am very, very disappointed when I take a look at the viewership on Twitch and stuff like that, and I see stuff like this. This is something that I posted on Twitter a while back. I took a screenshot of World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy XIV, and Elder Scrolls Online. And I made sure to do it at a time when, give me my pointer, please. I made sure to do this at a time when the World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy categories wouldn't be thrown off so much by extremely popular streamers with large followings that'll swing the numbers wildly. I was looking for a time when all the streamers of all these games were less known and had maybe like 1,000 to like thousands of concurrents max, not tens of thousands, not hundreds of thousands. Of course, nobody has hundreds of thousands on Twitch, not hardly anything unless it's a major event. But a lot of times the biggest streamers on Twitch, like XQC and whatnot, are doing like 5 digits. So I made sure to stick to just 4-digit concurrence max, so none of the 5-digit people would swing the numbers very much. And let me just say this, I mean, the inertia of World of Warcraft is something to behold. 9.3 million followers, so the biggest follower base, but 43,600 viewers. Despite all the scandals, despite all the calls to boycott the game, despite all the angry players made upset by Activision Blizzard, despite all of this, World of Warcraft, through its inertia alone, at a time when there wasn't an Asmongold or a Zach Rohr streaming it, there wasn't an S-Fan streaming it, there wasn't a big-name WoW streamer streaming it, still 40-something thousand concurrents. Final Fantasy XIV, the darling of angry WoW players who are sick of WoW and ran off to Final Fantasy, are now saying Final Fantasy is the greatest thing ever when Final Fantasy has its problems too. 32.8K for concurrence. And then you have Elder Scrolls Online with only 3.7K. I looked at these numbers before going live, and they're just as disappointing. WoW does fine for itself. Final Fantasy does fine for itself. ESO, pitifully low, with only 1,000 viewers between all the late night streamers, with similar follower bases to Final Fantasy. And it's nighttime now, which means it's daytime in Asia. So it's like, so I mean, well, maybe that's why Final Fantasy wins at this time of night, but the bottom line is this was US afternoon, middle of the night over in that part of the globe. And still, Final Fantasy clobbers ESO. And this is why I say that Elder Scrolls Online has so much potential. That the current leadership team, if they are not willing to realize some of this potential, it's time for them to exit the company. It's time for them to step down from ZeniMax. Instead of giving each other promotions and pats on the back or little attaboys or whatever. It's time for ZeniMax to get serious, because these 3 games are 3 MMOs that have major IPs behind them. And I am sick and tired of Elder Scrolls being the boat anchor. Making videos about Elder Scrolls Online will hold you back as a YouTuber. Streaming Elder Scrolls Online will hold you back as a streamer. I mean, let's talk about these 3 MMOs again. The big names in the streaming communities on them. Asmongold, 5-digit concurrence when he's doing WoW. Zach Rohr, his alt account, 4-digit concurrence when doing WoW, and more concurrence than what I see from somebody like Lucky Ghost on ESO. Final Fantasy, same deal. There are people with thousands of concurrents, big names like Larry Czar. Well, I think Larry Czar might be more of a YouTuber, but there are streamers streaming Final Fantasy to large audiences and having a blast with it and enjoying some good growth. And then there's ESO. Elder Scrolls Online, where third parties that run websites and can gather views from embedding their Twitch streams on their websites like F Extra Life and whatnot. And big YouTubers like Hack the Minotaur and other gaming channels related to ESO that can get a crossover audience from ESO, get some concurrence. And then there's the ESO Stream Team, where, so are any of those Stream Team members, they ever cross 1,000 unless they're featured on Bethesda's page or something? Because The ESO Stream Team, we might as well mention it, I think is fundamentally a net negative for Elder Scrolls Online, and here's the reason why. World of Warcraft, well, the ESO Stream Team is ZeniMax working directly with a hand-picked group of streamers who are held to certain terms and conditions where they are not allowed to badmouth the game, etc. They're not allowed to badmouth the game of the devs. The Stream Team, therefore, is on the leash of ZeniMax. ZeniMax is directly involved with them. There's a behavior code, but at the same time, you get exclusive giveaways and other stuff to have in your stream. It's kind of a quid pro quo kind of thing here, but here's the thing. It's a thing with ESO. These other games, though, these two MMOs do just fine without it. The World of Warcrafts of the world, well, World of Warcraft, Asmongold, S-Fan, Rich W. Campbell, etc. Now, Mad Season. These big content creators. Doesn't need to be an official program propping it up on Twitch. Final Fantasy XIV, Larry Czar. He's the only one I really know of. I don't really get too much. What was that person that switched from WoW to Final Fantasy and then brought Asmongold with her? I forgot who it was. But I've seen some of her videos on YouTube as well. But Final Fantasy, I know, has some streamers. I can't think of the names very much because I've been out of the Final Fantasy scene since before it became the fad game last summer when everyone got mad at Blizzard because of all the scandals. Or at least that's what you would be led to think. But still, WoW has one heck of a set of inertia to it. People still play WoW. Big streamers will still play WoW and get viewers. So just the inertia of World of Warcraft and its past success has been a force to be reckoned with. And then you have Elder Scrolls Online, a boat anchor for you as a content creator, whether you're a YouTuber or a streamer. You're guaranteed to limit yourself if you focus on ESO. Look at Lucky Ghost. Got to like 1,000 concurrents or so. Now he's branched off into Final Fantasy. So he's now more of a variety streamer. Couldn't do it on ESO alone. Had to branch out in order to keep going. In order to keep growing. And then there's the official program, the Stream Team, where ZeniMax is directly interfering with and affecting the perception of Elder Scrolls on Twitch, the biggest streaming platform out there. Now, here's the problem. The Stream Team, when the Stream Team folks start setting the standard for what to expect from an ESO streamer, giveaways, exclusive codes, etc., that stacks the deck against everybody who's not on that team. And so it gives ZeniMax essentially a leash to control how their own game is represented on Twitch. That should be something that sets off alarm bells for you, because these other two, with far more people watching, these two don't have that. There's plenty of third-party folks not associated officially with Blizzard or Square Enix that are streaming these games, getting followings, building communities, the works. Elder Scrolls is the weirdo that has this direct tinkering, or meddling, I should say, with the devs. And you know what another effect of that is? Some of the toxic videos that I've seen criticizing ESO, they're all on YouTube. You know where you find those? The directory. Here's the Elder Scrolls. Oh, I've been showing you the live streamers lately. Here's the live streamers right now that are streaming ESO. Shut your mouth on PS5. ESO overpowered Stam DI join in chat. Let's go. Some of these names I'm starting to become familiar with because I've seen them in the directory, because I actually watched the ESO directory. But if you go over, remember, we're not signed in on here. So this, we can't see it because my picture's covering it up. Let's see. We are not signed in. No. There we go. We are not signed in. See that? Blue sign-in button. Not signed in. No MultimediaJay picture right about... Oh, that's covered up too. But anyways, when there aren't a lot of people streaming, the directory on YouTube, Facebook I think does this too, the directory on YouTube is populated with people's videos. And what is trending? ZeniMax never listens from the real Godzilla. Toxic casuals are winning from this guy. You know, back to square one on Battlegrounds. Here's recent videos. Oh, well, look at this. Here's the video that I just put over. King Bahamut where Rich Lambert's wife is making fun of PvP players on stream. 9.5K views. This is featured in the ESO directory. It's trending on YouTube, and I don't even need to be signed into my account to see this video. 23 seconds, 9.5K views of Slashlurk's wife giving ESO players who criticize the game an attitude. And I keep going. Gotta keep going. This is all auto-generated by YouTube, by the way. And then I get down to popular, which is YouTube filling in the entire rest of the page with videos. The Crown Store controversy unites everyone. Zena, Sawman UK, ZeniMax and criticism, And this is where I found the video. Asmongold plays ESO for the first time. Look at all this stuff. Now, this is all generated by YouTube, and it's populated by stuff. ZeniMax could fix PvP, And I might as well say right now, because some people might have been able to piece it together, that it was a Sawman UK video that introduced me to the Rich Lambert banning the YouTuber fiasco, where Slashlurk, somebody was like, hey, aren't your priorities a little messed up because you keep doing stuff in the Crown Store and our weapons have been sticking to the ground for years? Then, of course, a highly acutely emotional moderator turns around and bans the guy. So it's just Twitch streamer problems, ladies and gentlemen. I'm cynical of Twitch streamers, and there's a very good reason why I'm cynical of Twitch streamers, because it's time and again and again. It's drama. It's the Twitch streamers starting the drama. A lot of times it ties into, for example, your average Twitch affiliate being a less experienced content creator. I mean, what does it even take to get 3 concurrents on Twitch? You get credit for watching your stream once, then you have your streamer dashboard. So run your stream on your phone on a data plan from a different IP address, 3 concurrents, and then just get 50 followers. Nothing exciting whatsoever. Nothing exciting whatsoever, and Twitch has so many bot problems. You might get follow botted at some point, if you get targeted by the right botter or something like that. So it's just Twitch, a Twitch affiliate. Nothing exciting. Just make some friends or get people to click follow, even if they never watch your streams. Do some kind of something or another with friends and followers elsewhere to get yourself Twitch affiliates. It's not much to it. And yet there's people that go around, I'm a Twitch affiliate. Yeah, I'm getting somewhere. YouTube partner means a heck of a lot more than Twitch affiliate ever will. But we don't want to get into that discussion tonight. But anyways, yes, that was how I was introduced to this. Over on ZeniMax never listens. I guess I'd better take a look at that Real Godzilla video later on. But yeah, so over on YouTube, you see all the criticism. And over on Twitch, you see all the people that are brown nosing. It's like, what? Yeah, hey, ZeniMax, I'm being a good little ESO Stream Team streamer. What? Whatever, man. So that's the thing, though. I kept an eye on the Elder Scrolls Online directory on YouTube. And that's how I was introduced to the video that showed the clip from the Slashlurk stream where the guy has a little breakdown on stream and his mod bans the guy. And I'm like, this is completely and totally unprofessional. And that's why I say what I say, that Slashlurk needs to resign from the company. He needs to step down. He can't keep it professional. He waved the flag that he's creative director at ZeniMax, and now people are going to know, then they see him on Twitch, that he's basically a complaint department of sorts. Sorry, buddy, it comes with the turf. You signed yourself up for this. You signed yourself up for this by doing this. But then when the YouTube videos like what we just saw in the directory start trending, showing more and more unprofessional, sometimes childish behavior towards PvPers like that, and I use that term very differently than the way people are using them in the fabricated debate of PvEers versus PvPers. We'll get to that later. But now when I see this behavior, I'm like, this is so unprofessional. This guy needs to step down. He can't handle. He has to step down from something. He either needs to step down from his position at ZeniMax or he needs to stop streaming. He clearly can't do both. In business, we talk about first impressions or final impressions. My first and final impression of this guy was when the video of him banning the guy asking about ZeniMax's priorities trended on YouTube, and I saw it in the directory. That was my introduction to this guy. That's the thing. Behave yourself on the internet, because with all the algorithms every which way, with all the algorithms going around, you never know what is going to be your introduction to somebody. So you don't want to have a lot of, you cannot hide anything on social media. You can't have alternative social medias hiding things away where maybe someone will dig and find them. No, it's all going to go public somehow. It's the internet. It's the internet. It's all going to go public somehow. There's so many algorithms, even on Twitter. Even on Twitter. So Ninja614, his little argument that he got into over the behavior of some of these people. I found out about that because of algorithms on Twitter. I don't watch Ninja614. I don't follow Ninja614, and now I've got him blocked because I'm sick and tired of seeing algorithms pass his, whatever you want to call it, along to me. Starting stuff on Twitter, starting stuff in multiple Twitch chats. Then someone makes a YouTube video of a stream. I look at the chat and Twitch to see what people are saying. There's Ninja614 starting stuff, shouting about stuff, da-da-da-da-da. This guy is somebody that I don't watch, never want to watch. He's an old biker, da-da-da. Yeah, well, he's definitely not a very well-experienced content creator, because he's making himself look really bad. And what does that do with the number? What is that doing to the numbers? I just got bright, put it on screen. There is something going on with these Stream Team people, though, where the hosts and raids, the lucky hosts and raids that jump their numbers all over the place, are pretty much, they died off in time for Christmas. I don't know if it's a Q4 lull or something like that. Anyways, this is the guy that's going around trying to start stuff all over the place. 302 average concurrence over the last 365 days versus Vendalia's 321. And Vendalia is a very chill, nice person. She's an inspiration for me, actually, because I tend to be too wound up. And to run into somebody who is very different from me, who's very, calm and collected and chill streamer type and whatnot, is a wonderful counterbalance. I can't recommend it enough, folks. Don't just admire and hang out with people that have a lot in common with you. You want some difference in your life, so you can always have a better perspective than just an echo chamber of what you yourself believe all the time. And that's one of the reasons why, as much as I will disagree with toxic PvPers in these games, occasionally I will listen to a few things that they have to say. So, yeah, anyways, get the Sully Gnome off the screen for a bit. And, Dark, don't be lit up like that. I just can't emphasize that enough, though. I mean, you want a better perspective on things. So you want to associate with people. You want to associate with people who are a little different than you, so you don't have, echo chamber, everything extremely narrow all the time. Let me say something about PvPers, too, because you got these people on Twitter that are like, PvPers are toxic. Oh, no, they're all immature. Look, they act like little middle school kids. Yeah, well, here's the thing. Maybe some of them are, I can tell you, when I was growing up, I played a lot of video games. I'd finish my homework, which middle school, high school was like 15 minutes. Maybe I'd read something in the textbook if I didn't understand something from the classes for the day. But I can tell you, I played more video games as a teenager than I did as a college student or as a 20-something or as a 30-something. Now, soon to be a 40-something. It's all downhill for me now. Thanks for watching, folks. I'm glad I've entertained you all these years, but I know my time is near. I'm old and I'm over the hill. Whatever. But Jay, age is just a number. Give me a break. But yes, I played more video games when I was growing up than I do now. It's just I had more time and whatnot. There were no jobs or bills or anything other stuff. And of course, there was no YouTube as well. I might be able to reprise some of my intense competitiveness with video games if I were just playing video games all the time when I wasn't working. But, it's just, that would be kind of dumb. I mean, one of the biggest ways to get yourself worked up for little or no reason is to give yourself cabin fever. Forget what the rest of the world is like outside of the internet or some video game that you can't stop playing. So But I know these people are out there, and this is one of the reasons why I don't get too much into competitive gameplay, because I know the minute I do, I'm going to run into the people who like play Mario Kart for 15 hours a day and have it all down ice cold, and I have no chance of being competitive with these guys because I just don't have the time to become like super like cyborg level skills with these games. I just follow the meta, follow what strats and whatnot. There's an entire cottage industry about those with tabletop games. Never mind something like ESO, where the gank builds, the heavy attack builds, I joked on Twitter about, you know, I've been messing around in Cyrodiil and got ganked by a guy whose character name was, with all weird characters, of course, Such My Diach, which we know what that's really supposed to mean. I'm just anglicizing the heck out of it. But a lot of my characters, I want there to be a lore reason for them to exist in Tamriel. I don't want to have like these spin art characters like what you see where they're all doing the little goose steppy thing or whatever that is, with completely random like outfits and glowy eyes that don't make any sense and stuff along those lines. But yeah, so yeah, that's where I mean with the whole PvP thing and whatnot. Anyways, let's switch back on over here to Solinum. So, actually, no, let's just talk about the stream team in general. So, we talked about my differences of opinion versus with Vindalia versus Ninja614 with the ESO Stream Team and all this other stuff. He's on the stream team, right? Just wanted to double check that. Yes, he is. So, there's a situation going on with these stream team streamers where they're acting like one big clique because they're on the stream team. And it's like, but the thing is, content creation, making friends on content creation is a lot dicier than making friends in real life. You can like somebody, but you have to ask yourself, and you have to take a very close look at the way they conduct themselves and make the decision as to whether you want to be associated with them as a creator, not just as somebody, you know, not just as any kind of friend or anything. It's extremely important. I think in 2022, this is going to be a big problem for the stream team people, because when creators get too interconnected with each other, you start having problems where one of them goes sour or whatever, or ticks people off and brings down the group. So there are two examples of this that I can talk about. One, the California girly girl streamer scene, look, I'm a pretty Twitch streamer in my early to mid 20s, that scene out on Twitch. Pokimane and Valkyrie. When I found out that Valkyrie had gone over to YouTube and become a YouTube exclusive streamer, I was like, oh, who's this? And then I saw one of the most watched female streamers in one of the stream hatchet reports. I go over and I check out her channel on YouTube, finally, catch one of her live streams. She's getting angry at the audience because people are giving her a hard time because she was friends with Pokimane. There was some kind of Pokimane drama going on at the time, and people were giving Valkyrie some problems over it. And she's like, why do you think I'm going to agree with you when she's used to be my roommate? And it's just the whole thing of, we're friends. Why are you thinking I'm going to agree with you when I'm already friends with no matter what? It's one of those things. But yeah, I mean, get too intertwined, you will start having the problems of the other streamers. And people will start viewing you in light of the other streamers too. Same thing with the Korean IRL streamers. About a year and a half ago to very recently, it was Ginny and her friends because of S-Fan Ginny and whatnot. I was introduced to a lot of her friends. Today I don't watch Ginny anymore. I got sick of all the scandals, and her streams are very repetitive, always the same thing over and over again. So like, hi chat, today I'm over here and today I'm over there and and just the whole thing where content creator baggage, I have to choose between somebody with drawbacks and somebody without drawbacks with my limited free time. Guess who I watch? The person with the least drawbacks. Her friends. So no scandals about, oh, does she have a secret boyfriend, blah, 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 none of that crap. None of the lashing out at the audience and none of the toxicity in the audience, some of whom were brigading to have me banned when I tried cracking a dad joke in their chat one day. But, you know, toxicity here and there, skip all of that. I just want to have fun and watch some streamers, right? So, but since then, we've had the conversation about the whole Ginny fiasco on here and on the blog and And there was another one, but I don't really care to talk about it because it's more of the same, basically. That whole Ginny detective garbage earlier and stuff like that. But here's the thing. Since that whole mess, her friends have all developed their own styles, and they're all very good entertainers worth watching in their own right. It doesn't have to be that they're her friend anymore. That's what matters. You can like and appreciate and watch them on their own merit. And I think it's better for them in general because, like, if one of them has a problem later on, they're not going to bring the others down in the process because of the backlash against them. They can still be friends and still collab, but there should not be a focus on collabing because, wow, excuse me. Shouldn't have had supper before streaming. What's my problem? But yeah, so the collabs and everything, there can still be a thing from time to time, but it's not really being emphasized anymore. And I think that's better for them in the long run in terms of the way that people view them as content creators. And they get their own chance to shine with their own unique styles and personalities. This is the lesson that the ESO Stream Team needs to learn. Vindalia and Tyranny do not have to have a shared streamer guild, especially if there are personality differences between the two that can lead to people liking one streamer and not the other, watching one streamer and not the other. Like the disagreements over COVID vaccines. From the way I've heard them, both of them talk about it, they have different attitudes towards that. Well, guess what? Some of us out there, like myself, I had one cousin die of Delta, in case people forgot. I had another cousin get sick multiple times with original COVID and UK Alpha. The second time she got it, she accidentally gave it to her medically vulnerable father-in-law, and he passed away from it. So all these problems, I have made it a critical, we must agree on this or we do not associate with each other thing regarding COVID vaccination. If you want to snub the COVID vaccines, I don't want to associate with you. You know, and it might be better for my health too if we're physically close, that I not have anything to do with you. You probably don't want anything to do with me either, because there is so much hatred going back and forth over this life-saving tool to put a dent in the pandemic and turn what could be high hospital bills and being hooked up to machines into a mild flu or cold that you have for a couple of days, if anything at all. And there's vaccines that target Omicron specifically that were already in the works before Fauci, Walensky, etc., the rest of them decided to start, talking about them and the various things that have been going around YouTube recently. I still got to watch the rest of that when I'm done streaming tonight. But as far as I'm concerned, there's that thing I say that I borrowed from the Swiss Reformation in Christianity. In essentials, unity. In non-essentials, liberty. In all things, charity. As far as I'm concerned, vaccination against COVID is an essential thing for me. So when I have a situation where one streamer is vaccinated, says nice things about the vaccine, another streamer doesn't do that, and they're kind of interlinked together, it creates a rather awkward situation. And the same thing, too, with the Stream Team stuff. The same thing, too, with the Stream Team collabs as well. And some of the things like, sound effects from another streamer in somebody's stream. I am there to watch Vindalia. I'm not there to hear pre-recorded clips of people talking about wiggling their butt or or anything along those lines. It's just like, no. And I think this is a great lesson for content creators in general, by the way, that you don't gain a reputation as a content creator by having it handed to you by others. You don't. And the entire Twitch ESO scene, which I don't want to take inspiration from with all this crap going on, by the way, there are only 2 streamers that stream ESO that exclusively, not like variety streamers like Melzy and whatnot. There are only 2 ESO streamers that I really have any respect for right now. Vindalia and Mackie Phoenix. So, and it's a situation where I was introduced to their content directly and saw how they were and how they treated people and was like, that's cool. I didn't have to hear sound effects from somebody else's stream to have any respect for these people. They earned it themselves through the way they are as a streamer. And that's the thing. And then on the other hand, Ninja614, I see him starting stuff in multiple Twitch chats and now on Twitter. Eventually, you have to say enough is enough. And if sound effects of him doing the doot, 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 doot are in other streams, I have to make a decision about whether I want to keep watching those streams either. Because let's be blunt here. These are different people we're talking about here. I don't care if Ninja614 is a streamer, he's a biker, so he might say things and end up with his foot in his mouth. He's brash, he's bombastic. Now, I don't care if he's like that. That's his thing. It doesn't need to be affecting how I view a streamer that I respect, like V. It doesn't have to affect that. Those two worlds do not need to collide. And while they do, they affect each other. Content creators need to find their own voice, find their own way. Otherwise, you have a problem like we see so often in popular bands and music, where like the lead singer or whatever is super popular. They go off and do their own solo project, and then the rest of the band you never hear from again because they just never were as popular. Not everybody is like a Nirvana to Foo Fighters thing. So not every band does like Nirvana to Foo Fighters or anything of that sort. Love this stuff. Got to make some more of it after I get done. Yeah, I got to finish up this stuff too. Been having too much too much carbonated soda lately because I like caffeine-free Pepsi because I'm a Pepsi addict. But yeah, all the people from the South that are like, Coke runs through my veins. Hey, sorry, man. My family's originally from Pennsylvania and New Jersey. And you're talking like hundreds of years ago for that, so don't bother. But that, I think, is going to be the problem with the ESO Stream Team. There's too much interconnect between these streamers, and it's going to hold them back as content creators. And what exactly, let's see here. What exactly is going, all right, so let's see. /lurk, not going to bother with him. Sick of his nonsense. We'll deal with why don't, before we go looking into the numbers to turn the corner on this discussion, let's take a look at this here. So we talked about the immature, juvenile folks who play PvP in Elder Scrolls Online, like the one that Ninja614 was responding to with this ESO fam grow up and sit at the grown-up table conversation here. And just, again, picking fights, poking the hornet's nest. I'm sick of this. And I don't tolerate drama on Twitch. Or Twitter, I should say. Well, they both kind of cross over the way things are. But look, we'll look at the raw numbers later. But here's the thing. These toxic PvPers are in all kinds of games. When games can get competitive, there are going to be people who take them too seriously. It's one of the reasons why I don't play certain games like League of Legends or first-person shooters. I won't play Overwatch. I will watch videos making fun of toxic Overwatch players, but I don't play Overwatch. Don't want to get into Valorant. There are entire games and genres that I will not touch because, quite frankly, I want to play video games with grown-ups, not with some crybaby who's going to threaten to dox me if I win in a first-person shooter against them. And then you know what? They're out there. They're out there. It happens. If games can get competitive, there are people out there who are going to take them way too seriously. And this is a generational thing. I grew up with some elder millennials my age. I can tell you right now, when I had an Atari 7800 and I died in Donkey Kong, I'd hit the reset button. I just start over. If I was on the first level in Donkey Kong or Donkey Kong Jr. my guy died, I just hit reset. And I just keep hitting reset. I wouldn't actually try to make all the lives. I just like getting mad at it and stuff like that. And I grew up with folks who got overly angry at video games and would slam the controller down on the floor when they lost or when something didn't go their way. Some of my step cousins, younger millennials, they're pushing 30 while I'm pushing 40. They were, there was a situation when I was growing up where I was basically an unpaid babysitter. They liked playing my Super Nintendo, even though I was trying to play N64 back in the 90s. Stepmother was grandma. She was watching them. And every so often I'd have to, keep him busy with the video games because she wanted some peace and quiet, even though she was getting paid to be the babysitter and I wasn't. But there was a time when one of these step cousins slammed one of my N64 controllers on the floor and I got kicked out of my room because of it. And I'm like, wow, risking breaking a first-party Nintendo controller, risking breaking a third-party Nintendo controller is what it takes to get my room back so I can stop being Mr. de facto babysitter here. What world do we live in? This is like 90s, so. Elder millennials, ladies and gentlemen. We grew up offline and now we live online. But it wasn't all peaches and cream growing up offline, let me tell you that. Okay. All right, let's go over this discussion here. Every time a dev makes it, a comment, streams, does anything near these comments every time, then the PvP community cries foul when they are banned, blocked, ignored. You want to sit at the grown-up table and have a constructive conversation? Act like one. Well, here's the thing. Yeah, well, here's the thing. You are now blanketing all people who PvP in ESO. And let me tell you something. PvP versus PvE, this crap that's going on right now in social media with Elder Scrolls Online, ESO is not that kind of game. If you only play one of those two, you're not getting the full ESO experience. Cyrodiil isn't pure PvP either. It's PvPvE. It's closer to like World of Warcraft's classic Alterac Valley or Guild Wars 2's World versus World. A mixture of PvE, PvP, huge zone to do battle in. There just aren't really enough people in Cyrodiil to really make it look like the war zone that it's supposed to be a lot of the time. I mean, there's groups of people that go around all the keeps trying to take keeps and do objectives and steal Elder Scrolls from the other factions and bring them back to their places as well. But Cyrodiil really doesn't look like what it could be. It looks like the sort of thing where potential is being left on the table. Fortunately, there was also a release from the devs, the professional devs that don't whine on Twitch and actually communicate through the appropriate channels, something anybody who has anything to do with corporate America should be familiar with. and the green text updates from Gina, Bruno, Matt Führer, and the other folks over on the ESO forums. I just read the green text. It's great to see professionalism as opposed to finger waggy stuff that I've seen from Blizzard. But apparently they're working on like a server re-architecture project with code being rewritten, similar to when the multi-threaded rendering was added to ESO. Now there's going to be a way to try and improve server stability with some new code and some other stuff so that we can have in the 2020s these big battles in Cyrodiil without the game lagging out. And I know what people are talking about in terms of PvP lag, because I've even seen it in the Imperial City, like small skirmishes in the Imperial City between like 6 or 7 players. Never mind what Cyrodiil is supposed to be. But the thing is, too, I think the best thing that ZeniMax can do at Cyrodiil is make a ceasefire campaign where PvP is optional, so the people that want to just go do like quests and delves and Cyrodiil and stuff like that can go to a campaign where it's understood that they are there to maybe not do the main PvP objective. Make it to where you can declare your neutrality in your base, which opts you out of the PvP side of it and lets you wander the zone and do delves and dolmens and stuff like that and explore and do quests. And then put that in a ceasefire campaign of just one campaign, similar to the other types of campaigns that exist. So that way the people that want to do that stuff aren't taking up spaces on a team in a population limited showdown in the main Cyrodiil campaigns. That seems to be the thing. I mean, there's a screenshot going around of people arranging what are essentially harassment campaigns to gank people trying to do the PvP elements of Cyrodiil, or PvE elements of Cyrodiil. The truth of the matter is that Cyrodiil has a story to it in ESO. Excuse me. Molag Bal has taken over. Whoops, wrong pipe. Drinking as usual. Knock that stuff back. Woo! Molag Bal, the Daedric Prince of Domination and stuff like that, has taken over Cyrodiil. And Cyrodiil is a disaster. The Daedra have shredded the place. So the zone that you knew from Elder Scrolls Oblivion in Elder Scrolls Online is a completely different beast altogether. There's a story, there is lore, and the Daedra are an additional AI-controlled faction, especially in the Imperial City, separate from the Three Banners armies. So because Cyrodiil isn't 100% PvP, there needs to be the option for people that want to see the rest of Cyrodiil besides taking keeps, siege weapons, things along those lines, and small skirmishes on the roads like in any PvP thing. Arathi Basin, anyone? But there needs to be the option for a campaign where it is understood going in there that you may not be in there to do PvP, and you get locked out of PvP and forced to do dolmens and delves and stuff like that in Cyrodiil. But the point is, though, everybody who wants to do the other stuff goes into that campaign and doesn't take up a spot on a team that may need as many people as possible in order for the Pact, the Dominion, or the Covenant to make progress in Cyrodiil. That's probably the best thing I can say when it comes to all of that. But it is nice to see the professionalism from the ZeniMax green text devs that communicate through the proper channels instead of /lurk boo-hoo-hooing his own paying customers on Twitch and settling into the role of a drama-causing Twitch streamer when he's supposed to be far, far, far more professional as the creative director at Zenny. He needs to resign from something. He either needs to stop streaming, like I said before, either stop streaming or resign from ZeniMax. It is blatantly clear at this point that he cannot do both. He can't keep it professional. But anyways, yeah, let's take a look at some of this stuff here. Let's see. People doing reporting, sprees. That's brigading, by the way. That's harassment. There's a subreddit apparently associated. There's a subreddit to organize, that probably gets shut down, that mobbing is a form of harassment. Simple as that. Oh, and here's the guy that got banned. It's hard not to be a troll when the PvP community pays for DLCs every few months, just like everyone else, but gets nothing in return. It's just this kind of mean-spirited crap here. Everyone is smearing everybody. It's nothing but clout-chasing crap and trolling. It doesn't actually accomplish anything. Elder Scrolls Online is a game where you play what you want when you want, including Cyrodiil, including the PvE elements of Cyrodiil, not just the PvP. Although it might be fun to try and come up with something successful if you can be successful against people that do just Cyrodiil all the time. So, huge catch up in terms of meta type stuff like that. But either way, it's not real, folks. This if you ignore a chunk of the game, you're not getting the full ESO experience. Full stop. This is not a game for you to be restricted like that. And I gotta wonder about you if you are. Let's see here. Let's conclude with some of these numbers just to showcase where all of this controversial crap. Remember, I'm the low-hanging fruit. For everybody like me who vocalizes these thought processes, there's people out there that just do it. So I am the one who is giving the feedback constructively that needs to be taken graciously. Otherwise, you'll never know, and people will just disappear, and you'll wonder why you don't have an audience. One last round of browser mode here. Vindalia. I think she has more than enough character, personality, and other stuff to press on her own and not risk getting boat anchored by these other Stream Team folks with different personalities and different takes on things. The problem that the ESO Stream Team is going to run into in 2022 is just the diverging personalities versus, we all got to talk to each other because we're on the Stream Team, right? No. I mean, there are day streamers, night streamers, etc., who don't really talk too much to each other. There's a little bit of crosstalk, but right now there's way too much intermingling. So one person goes sour, takes down the group. And we see with V, let's see, I don't know why the numbers are sparse like this. With V, she was featured on the Bethesda page a couple of times, but something goes on around November 2021 that just kind of starts shutting off interest in the game. Now, we know in December, there was the controversy over the respec scrolls in the Crown Store. Why is it the case, though, that when ESO Deadlands launches, things cool off for these streamers? Unless, of course, people playing Deadlands instead of watching other people play it. Just like, you can't do both? I don't know. But anyways, Tyranny, same issue. She has a couple of things in the middle of, she has a couple of things in in the middle of the year, but for the most part, things just kind of start to get sleepy around the end of the year. And then of course you have Ninja, same thing. Ninja 614, same thing going on. Things get sleepy as 2021 draws to a close. Now, okay, 302 concurrence. That's pretty decent, right? Yeah. Well, here is where all of these people and their drama. This is where it gets them. Drama is something that boat anchors you as a content creator, because people don't want to hear about your problems. They just want to watch and enjoy. Unless you are explicitly a personality who is going to ask the hard questions and things along those lines. Unless you are a personality that's going to ask the hard questions and have the tough discussions, people just want to be entertained and informed by what it is that you do. So 302, I mean, still not topping V average for the year, and paling in comparison to Jay Streezy. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. This is his alt account for testing stuff with 209 concurrents. Here's his main account. Sixes lately. He's been working on a lot of stuff in between bursts of streaming, but hey, if we're talking about video games instead of IRL, we have Rei to contend with. She plays Dota, some MOBAs, some Genshin Impact, stuff like that. But she's a very chill person. Even if you're the fun part with Rei that I've really had a blast with in terms of she's fun to watch as a streamer is the fact that even though she plays different games than I do, she's mellow and whatnot, and just kind of just chills and whatnot. So she's usually streaming around the time I'm getting ready to go to sleep. So she will probably be in the top streamers I watch for 2022, because I keep having her streams going when I doze off in the morning as a night shift guy. But she's cool and whatnot. She's just chill and stays focused on games. So it's just no drama, no nonsense. Just if you want to relax and watch someone play Dota or something like that, she tweets occasionally, but for the most part, it's just shows up, plays video games. Simple. Isn't that really what it's supposed to be about? Shouldn't it be nice and simple like this instead of whatever you want to call what's going on in, ZeniMax never listens, PvP is broken, PvPers are toxic, we're making this fake controversy over something that is that's going to make people dizzy if I do that too much. What exactly have these folks accomplished? I mean, I talk about the angry little Twitch streamers, Twitch affiliates, usually 20 concurrents, start tons of drama on Twitter. People find out about that drama because algorithms and this meta, of course, hey, check out my other socials. Oh, okay. I'm going to check out your socials, and I'm going to see that this person who's all super friendly and happy and blah, 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 over on Twitch turns into this monster when they're tweeting. Look, folks, you know I'm cynical and I ask the tough questions, and I'm not the kind of person that likes to lie to somebody to keep them happy. I don't believe in that. Because what happens, of course, is people find out you were lying to them and they're even angrier at you. It doesn't work. It's deception, and the problem with deception is you got to maintain the house of cards. You have to keep the ruse going for people to keep falling for it. So, chug, 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 whatever. But I'll let the numbers continue speaking for themselves. This should be... Oops. Of course, you get a teaser of what's coming up in January here. This should be a three-way showdown between three MMOs based on major IPs. And yet Elder Scrolls Online is the runt of the bunch. Why? And why should anybody settle for this? Especially Microsoft and the new brass that oversees ZeniMax. Why should this continue being the case? Why should WoW, despite all the scandals at Activision Blizzard, still have a sizable following on Twitch through its sheer inertia, never mind making people angry for the better part of a decade since Warlords of Draenor with finger-waggy, we know better than you players attitudes, which are now sadly starting to become recognizable in Elder Scrolls Online land? Why should we have a world where World of Warcraft coasts along on its own inertia? Final Fantasy coasts along on being the fad game for everyone who got mad at WoW and people that like JRPGs and anime and stuff. And ESO remains that. You know, when I was in college, I learned some things about business. And one of the things I learned was the idea of a hostile takeover. And I was like, why should a hostile takeover be a thing? I didn't understand it. It was textbooky type stuff. I didn't have any real world experience. Given the state of Elder Scrolls Online, the constant tug of war between the Crown Store and the game, the constant flashbacks for folks like myself who spent a lot of time playing WoW before coming over to ESO, seeing the deterioration that Total Biscuit talked about way back about why he stopped playing WoW during Cataclysm, where World of Warcraft stopped being about something where you stepped up to the plate, you got better, and you achieved something to, oh, Blizzard's just going to hand something out. Or in the case of Mad Season's critiques, swiping a credit card is just as valid of a form of game progression as actually playing the game. As all this goes on, and is more and more of a thing, I understand now why hostile takeovers are a thing. Why are there activist investors out there who want to buy their way into the shares to be able to remake companies because of stuff like this? It doesn't have to be this way. Unless you're about to tell me that ESO or the Elder Scrolls is like an indie game compared to Final Fantasy and Warcraft, there is no reason for this. If that means leadership changes, it's time for leadership changes. At the minimum, /Lurk should step down. He's just, the way he's behaved is not professional. The way he's flown flags about, I am the head honcho creative director at ZeniMax, that invites people who are going to use you as an unofficial complaint department. There's people like me who understand corporate speech and corporate communications and how companies limit communications. I almost said computers, like what? Or combos or whatever. Companies limit communications to certain channels for a reason. You cannot introduce something that reflects badly on the brand like this through unofficial means. And this is one of the reasons why. Let me check the directory. I'm going to fire up my Firefox for this. Let me just refresh that directory for Elder Scrolls Online. And the video showing the latest /Lurk acting bad on stream, is that still trending? Now I'm on my account. Oh yeah. Almost 10,000 views in a single day for a 23-second clip. For a 23-second clip of Rich Lambert's wife being snooty to players. And he has another one too that isn't trending, got 24 views. I recommend checking that out too, because, you know, it's just, this is not the way you behave when you're the public face of a popular video game like this. It's just, either don't do this or don't stream. It's not going to work out. You had your chance. It's over. There's no way that /Lurk should continue streaming or working at ZeniMax. It can't be both. It has to be one or the other. It's time to choose. Because I'll tell you what, I've been playing ESO for 5 years now. It is my favorite MMO of those three. And I am sick and tired of seeing it in the underdog sleeper hit position that it has been in all this time. I'm sick of this. And so to see big names in charge of this game behaving this way is 100% unacceptable. In the rest of corporate America, this would invite very tough meetings about brand management and how people's behavior affects the brand. ZeniMax, your move. Get this guy in a meeting. Get him back in line. ESO has problems that needs to be solved, not exacerbated by the behavior of people that are supposed to be role models for leadership in terms of this game. I mean, come on. People were upset about Ian Hazakostas and how he treated people with WoW, but at least he kept things professional, even if corporate Muppet professional. I think I prefer the way Ian Hazakostas was over this. So, yeah, ESO has its problems, but then again, I've had love-hate relationships with every Elder Scrolls game I've ever played. Morrowind, wonderful, engrossing, modded the heck out of it, crashed to the desktop. Oblivion, wonderful, engrossing, but it also called axes blunt weapons and crashed to the desktop. Skyrim, wonderful, graphics, incredible. First game I ever played where I'd stop and look at the scenery. It was that good. And in the same graphics generation as Oblivion, nonetheless, just at the end instead of the beginning. But it crashed to the desktop. It had the, like, one spell in each hand thing that was a little awkward compared to Oblivion. And stuff like that. Yeah, that crap going on. But yeah, it's like, yeah. So why should I be surprised then that ESO picks up where the other Elder Scrolls games left off? But is it really about my opinion? No. It's about the state of ESO versus these other major IP games. Whoops, that's React mode. These other major IP MMOs out there. Now, WoW and Final Fantasy is what everyone is talking about. People talk about this one, and they talk about this one. This one is a boat anchor. 40,000 something views, 30,000 something views, less than 10,000 viewers. With similar followings versus Final Fantasy. I don't think I need to rub this in anymore. Anyways, I would like to just, as we close, remind everybody, I am the low-hanging fruit. I am speaking out loud the thoughts that are going through my head. For every one of me, there are lots of people out there that don't say anything. They just do stuff. They don't say anything about ESO and its current issues. They just stop playing. They cancel their ESO Plus membership. They don't buy from the Crown Store. They go play something else. Or they just, do something else because they're just upset at the game. It's time for ZeniMax to rein in this problem with the way their people behave and reiterate feedback is a gift. You cannot be in charge of something as big as this without the ability to graciously take feedback professionally. And you cannot have something like the ESO Stream Team and then have people in the Stream Team make it look bad by being loose cannons, getting people riled up all over the place, and people just want to enjoy something related to a video game that they like Elder Scrolls Online. I'm going to call it a morning now. Relax. Playing ESO, sort of. Working on a few rather casual things right now. Got a couple more things to watch. Probably will not be watching Vindalia's stream tonight. This drama has gone far enough. And that's what the block button is for. Till next time, this is MultimediaJay signing off. Thanks for stopping by.